We know how you can create a running game plan against a defense that knows you're going to run and have it be successful.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that worked last Sunday, which was cool. But every week's a different week, and the better you do in a certain area, like running the ball, that's the more that your opponents are going to focus on that. And so we just got to make sure we keep going. We don't get stale. We keep working. We dig at those details that we got to improve on, because there's still a lot of yards left out there, I felt like, and we could have been better than what we were.
So I know you have to get ready for this week's game, but I'm fascinated by what your process must have been, because looking at all the misdirections and the fakes and the motions and the way you dressed up those runs, what is like the mad scientist? You guys are all sitting in a room coming up with different things to gussy up your plays, or how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, there's some of that for sure, and a lot of it, the big concern for me, like going into that game plan, was could Malik handle all the moving parts of the game plan, and not necessarily him actually throwing the ball, just making sure the motions were good, were timed up, and all that. So it's a testament to him, just like his focus and his work throughout that week. That was pretty impressive, because there was a lot of things that could have, you snap the ball early, or you mess up an exchange, you go the wrong way, or something. Like, for a new guy to come in here and do that, that's what I was most impressed with, was just the operation of the game and how he just executed the game plan. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's hard in this league to just line up, be static, and beat people. Like, you really got to have an unbelievable roster to do things like that. Now, I think we have good players, but you just have to keep the defense guessing. You have to, make them look one way, go the other. You know what I mean? Just to distract them for a split second, so you can find seams in defenses and whatever it is. That's just something that I believe in and I like to do.
So most of that stuff, all that motion stuff with Jade in the backfield, all the different things he did, was that repped last week for the first time, or were those like in your installs?
No, yeah, those are things, throughout camp we put in and do, and it's not necessarily like you may do like one or two plays a day, but then once you go into a game plan, you're like, all right, we're going to do this package or whatever it is. But yeah, anytime you got a weapon like Jaden Reed and you can move him around and give him the ball or use him as bait, I guess, it's always fun to have guys like that for sure.
Every offensive lineman wants to have a game like that where they just run the ball relentlessly, right? But in that kind of heat,
yeah.
Is it harder to run, more strenuous to run block 53 plays or pass block 53 plays?
I'm sure physically it's probably a lot harder to do the running, the run blocking. But yeah, I don't think many O-linemen are going to complain about that. That's for sure. So no, it was fun to watch. It was really impressive by those guys.
Yeah, going back to Jaden being bait, have you used a guy like that much since you've been here? And is he at such a point in his career? It's a young career, I would get it, but has he done so much that teams just have to stare at him because he's done?
Yeah, I think you've seen throughout his year plus of him being here that when he gets the ball in his hands, he can do some pretty special things. So that's something as a defense you have to know where he's at all times, I'm sure. And yeah, I like getting him the ball. It's fun to watch him run around and make plays and stuff. So yeah, he's a fun player. I'm glad we got him.
Stenavich, you probably started camp thinking you'd have AJ and Marshawn behind Josh, and now you have neither of them for now, at least. What do you think of what you have behind Josh, or does he have to carry the ball 32 times again?
Well, the one thing, like with Emmanuel, he's whatever we've asked him to do so far, he's done a really good job. He had some good pass protection plays in the last game. Anytime we hand him the ball, he runs hard. He protects the ball. So I'm happy with what Emmanuel's done, and I'm excited to see him as the season progresses, how good he can be. Chris has done a good job in practice the last 2 weeks. So, yeah, he's a guy that's played in some games, so it's not like it's his first time that he's going to be out there doing stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited about those guys.
How will you know if Jordan's ready to go or not?
I think he'll tell us. Yeah, I mean, If he shows up Sunday and he's ready to go, then great. If not, then we'll go with Malik. That's kind of our approach.
Where does Kraft rank on the completeness scale? Is he already what you would call a complete tight end?
Yeah, I would say so. Certainly does a good job, making plays with the ball in his hand. He's a hard guy to tackle. He's got a good feel, in routes, just finding open windows and stuff like that. Good hands. And then in the run game, that's his biggest thing is he's just done such a tremendous job at the point of attack, blocking. So yeah, I would say he's becoming that for sure.
Adam, was that base there as far as the blocking with him when he came in, or is that something you've seen like over this last year and a half now?
Yeah, he's definitely improved in that. That was one thing, when he showed up that he really needed to work on, and he has. To his credit, he's done a great job, and he just keeps getting better as we progress.
Have you had much of a feel for what Jordan can handle or can't handle at this point?
Yeah, I mean, he's limited right now, and we're kind of just moving forward that way.
For the shot.
Nice try. I respect that. Yeah.
We have heard that word once or twice this week. Can you help, without getting yourself in trouble, help me understand how you get two quarterbacks ready? Because you don't, as you stand there right now, unless you're really doing a great job of hiding it, you don't know who is going to start on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So how on earth, especially when they're at two vastly different places, how the heck do you get them ready?
Yeah, I think the good thing, with Jordan is it's not like he hasn't played before. He's got a great base of knowledge and all that stuff. So whatever he can do, he does. And then you give the rest to Malik and say, all right, bud, here we go. And these are your plays. And just get him going. And, every good thing is he had a game plan now. And you have some of the similar stuff. And then you have new things. So it's not like everything's new this week. You just keep building on that foundation every week. And as the season progresses for him, it should get easier and easier and become more familiar. So, yeah, that's the big challenge of coaching.
During your playing days, did you ever throw up on the field during your game?
Yes. Yeah, not on the ball, but I definitely threw up on the field. The one impressive thing, I don't ever remember throwing up and then doing a play immediately after. That was very impressive. I've seen a nose tackle throw up on the ball. That was like a shade puke on the center's hand. Yeah, that was like diabolical right there. But I've never seen a center actually do it, so that was a first for me. But I respect that.
When did you see
It was in college.
Was it in college?
Yeah, Michigan. Yeah, so.
You are, I'm sure you guys say you can double anybody anytime you want, on the offensive line. Mm-hmm. But what does Tennessee do with Simmons to try to get him one-on-one?
Simmons is really good. I think it's harder in the pass game to double, like when you have like a guy like Simmons or Aaron Donald when they play, an interior position, a 3 technique. Like you can slide at them, but there's certain instances where, they give you 5 across. They force you to, go one-on-one pass protection, stuff like that, and that's where those elite players, they make their money. And he is definitely an elite player. He plays with a great motor. He's got excellent talent, all the physical tools, and yeah, he's going to be a problem that we have to understand where he's at.
Obviously, your run game was great last week by the final numbers, but if you look at the second half, it was a slug there for a bit. Mm-hmm. What did they do, and I guess more importantly, what do you need to clean up in that regard?
Yeah, I think the thing in the second half is some penalties, and then just like focusing on our fundamentals, focusing on finishing blocks, all that stuff. But yeah, it was just kind of a tale of 2 different halves. It was pretty weird when you looked at like the stat line for sure.
I know your focus is on getting Malik ready for whatever he has to do. I'm just curious, you were here, speaking of being a player, you were here when Aaron was sitting behind Brett, right? And then you obviously were here to see Jordan sitting behind Aaron. Mm-hmm. It seems from the outside that maybe Tennessee was thinking about doing that with Malik, right, behind Tannehill for a while, and instead things play out the way. When you look at what you've seen from him in your time around him, do you find yourself, I don't want to say wondering, but can you see that there's some talent there that maybe if this guy had gotten the time the way Jordan did, that maybe he'd be in a very different place?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about anything that happened at Tennessee because I was not there and I have no idea. All I know is I agree. You definitely see talent with Malik. He comes in and his mindset has been awesome. You know, there's no bad blood or hard feelings or, you know, he doesn't have like a chip on his shoulder or angry. He just comes in every day, wants to learn, wants to just do his job. And, yeah, it's been pretty fun to see so far. And, you know, I've been really impressed with him.